Hello and welcome to our weekend debate. We haven't had one for a few weeks. We've got a very special one this time because obviously we're really on the election, literally days away from it. But let me introduce our team to you. First of all, over to you, sir.
Chris Robertshaw, retired whatever.
We'll take some fun in that one.
Indeed.
Why not? Under your name, we're going to put retired MHK. Is that weird? And also special guest.
Yeah, Sam from Jeff, or Sam Turton, I suppose, but he's my full name. Your chair, this is a rocking chair now. There we go, that's a good start to a TV programme for you, Paul.
Yeah. Sam, you probably know Jeff the Mongoose, or just Jeff, I think you'd like to call it now, who's done such a good job, I think. I know, Chris, you follow what he writes.
Well, I was a bit of a critic of Jeff the Mongoose at the beginning. It has to, well, more than a bit. But Sam turned it round, and his independence of mind, I've been delighted with.
No, I mean, it's great to hear, but I'd say really there's a brilliant team. There really is. I mean, you've got Kate Hegarty, who's led things brilliant. You've got Emma Cox, Emma Mann, whatever name she's using on and off stage. She's married but uses Mann for some people and Cox for the other because she hasn't changed her name yet. And you've got Amber and Ben who do the graphics, and you've got Jamie and Chess and Mystic Chess, of course, who does horoscopes. It really is. It's a team that looks a lot smaller than it is, but also a team that looks a lot bigger than it is because the output that we have there.
Well,
to be congratulated.
You know you've made it when you get to meme of. You've got a lovely one this week yourself, actually, haven't you?
Oh, I was on Takeover TV this week.
Yes, now you know you've made it especially as well. Anyway, I did ask them to be here as a guest, but they're not quite ready to make themselves public.
I thought you were going to do like a Jerry Adams style thing with like a shadow, well, someone else's voice over them.
I was tempted. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to do 12 sections, at least, maybe one conclusion, I don't know. We'll see how we go. So we're going to make this bite size, and we're going to go around the different constituencies, the parishes, and we will talk about everyone to some degree. We think we're as fair as we can be about this. So we're going to start with Arbory, Castletown and Malew, and we have standing Graham Cagine, Steve Crowther, Tim Glover and Jason Morehouse. Okay. You've been to most of the public meetings, I think.
Yes, I think I've done 7 or 8 of them, and Noah Bovenizer did the others.
So I don't know how far we want to go on this, if you actually want to name horses and riders or who's going to get in, but really just the quality and the mix of people there. What do you think?
Well, I'm pleased Tim's standing. My instinct is, for what it's worth, I think Sam attended that particular meeting, didn't you? Mm-hmm. I didn't, so I expect Jason will get back in.
Yeah,
I'd probably agree with that. I think he's a very good constituency MHK, and he's. I'm trying to avoid using the term granny farmer because it's really one that we've tried to avoid in Manx politics, but he's somebody who a lot of people know in the area, and he attends every event. And you've previously said about his questions in Keys. I think there was the one about on the promenade with, was it Bins, and you could hear you audibly in the background saying, "Is this serious?"
That's exactly what I said. Yes, some of the questions have been questionable.
We're getting down to seagulls, aren't we? Seagulls was the
seagulls and sandwiches and squirrels and things. Yeah,
but they've all come from constituents.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what Jason does well.
Yeah. So
at that level,
you're saying he's got that friendly, happy, safe feel about him because he does seem different. And he's certainly the first 5 years, I think, even going along, his questioning was in question time was quite interesting, should we say?
I think Sam's point's right in the sense that Jason has been an assiduous constituency MHK, and people respond to that well. I wasn't a particularly good constituency MHK. I was more inclined towards national issues, but Jason does that role well, and I think it's respected.
Okay, Tim Glover, of course, one of 2 people from Manx Radio going. This can be seen as a clever move, I suppose. I mean, he's had a good COVID, if you want to put it that way. He's in front of the public a lot, like others around here on the press conferences.
What I would say to that is, and perhaps it's not something that's been sort of discussed very much in the Isle of Man, but the woke agenda's creeping across Western Europe, and it's starting to wash up on our shores. And I think it's important to have in the next House 1 or 2 members who will challenge in a very robust and down-to-earth way the woke agenda and remind the House that it mustn't drift into that dangerous environment. And I suspect Tim would be one who would do that.
I think, listen, I think obviously somebody who spent many years scrutinising government in one form or another. Of course, he was in sports and then transitioned into news more, particularly in the last few years as editor up on the Hill. I think will bring an element of scrutiny to government, which perhaps, obviously with being in journalism, he's somebody who will have spent a lot of time reading endless Tynwald reports and various other things, which will prime him well for it. And I think he's somebody who could do very well in a backbench role, or even if he wants to go further into it than that.
I would say, though, that if Graham doesn't get in, I do seriously hope that he stands for Legco, because one would expect one or two of the Legco members to end up as MHKs. And I think that we, as Keys, slightly overreacted at the last couple of times we elected members to Legco, and we failed to recognise that there should be some ex-MHKs up in Legco to engender that link to some extent, and Graham does listen. He really does listen, and I think he would fulfil that role incredibly well. So if he doesn't get in, I hope he stands for that.
Yeah. Interesting enough, actually, we had this about who could be MLCs, and even especially with if what people think could happen does happen this election, it's going to be a short term for any MLCs getting in on this time around because of the nature of the seats that are standing. And that's sort of a role where I was thinking you probably would be better off with people who have been MHKs, because even if there's somebody who wants to come in and do an extra year or so and then go, because you can't bring somebody in new into Tynwald, expect them to do the job in a year, and then in a year's time they could get booted back out again.
I mean, we overreacted at the last two Legco elections because we were deeply, and rightly so, deeply embarrassed at the gender imbalance and dealt with it in a robust fashion. But in the process of doing so, as Sam indicates, we lost that degree of link where there needs to be a balance of outsiders and ex-MHKs to create the right environment within Legco.
Okay, so we're thinking here, guys, that Graham isn't.
I think it'd be close.
MLC, if nothing else.
Well, I hope that if he doesn't get in, he goes to Legco.
Okay, and Steve Crowther, I mean, he's Eco House and architect and that sort of thing. Independent, like most people are.
I think he would make if he gets in. I think he would make an able and constructive contribution.
I think you've just gone back briefly to Mr. Grugino. I think you've got the same thing as well. And Mr. Crowther, they would both bring different things to the Keys. I think with Mr. Grugino bringing experience and somebody who's been there, especially during the past couple of years of COVID, and knows how Tynwald works. But then again, Mr. Crowther, you're looking at somebody who, as we move forward, need to look at building greener houses. You've got somebody with that expertise. Mm-hmm. You've got architectural expertise, which could help in areas such as with the new capital development programme, which will be coming. So it's one of them constituencies, really, where any four could get in and all four could do a good job.
Yeah. Well,
I agree with that.
I mean, you've been to the hustings pretty well, all of them. So do you get a feeling that that's important when you see them in action? Because they're doing quite a lot. Well, Ed Michael had only probably two, plus the TV, plus the radio. But there's a lot of times these people are meeting up now, aren't they, and discussing things.
I think the hustings are a weird one this time. And of all the ones I've been to, where the captains of the parish in particular have chaired them, who I think have got a bit of a chip on their shoulders about the way this has been handled, because their power has been taken away from them from central government and delivered to this. These pre-election meetings, I don't think have worked, honestly. I think they weren't advertised properly. They were sort of, in Onken, for example, that ours was scheduled up at Bemmerhague, which is on the outskirts of the constituency. If you know Onken, you want them in the centre of the village. That's where it works. And I just think that the government have they half did a good job by saying, right, we're going to organise these, they're on a set date, here they are. But I think they should have used more work with either local authorities or commissioners to help with these meetings, and they would have been better organised at a local level, with the government saying, we're paying for it, here's your budget, go organise a hall, organise your speaker.
I mean, the question must be, do we need it anymore because there's so much media doing things, but that's a debate for another day.